Welcome to the Career Whisperer. I'm Andrea Kaye, career consultant and author of the new book, Work's a Bitch, and Then You Make It Work, 6 Steps to Go from Pissed Off to Powerful. Well, I know many of you are a little ticked off these days, and it's understandable. Feeling frustrated, feeling helpless, not knowing what to do or where to go for help. Well, today you're going to meet somebody who was feeling just like that. Frustrated, helpless, didn't know what to do, and at his wit's end. You're going to meet Joe Barker, who came to me years ago, about 5 years ago, and he was just not sure what to do. And he's going to tell you his story and what he did to go from pissed off to powerful. Welcome to the Career Whisperer, Joe.
Hi.
Joe, I'd like you to start by telling a little bit about your story and what you were going through, where you were at in your career, what you were doing, and what you were feeling like.
Mm-hmm. I had graduated from college several years ago with a degree in English and didn't really have a specific career path when I either started or got done with college, and had taken a series of jobs that I more or less fell into. And by the time that I realized that I was having questions or problems with my career, I was probably on my fourth different job, I would say, and none of them had really been fulfilling to me, and I didn't really feel like I was on a path where I needed to be. Mm-hmm. And I did feel very frustrated at that time, or by the time I got there, I felt really frustrated.
Talk about the last job, the one that when I met you, you had just left. Mm-hmm. Talk to me, or talk to us about what was going on for you and how you knew enough was enough. I cannot take this anymore.
Mm-hmm. I had ended up working as a computer consultant for a business that my dad owned, mm-hmm. And was a computer programmer, actually. And it was, I don't know exactly how I got there, except that I knew my dad, obviously, and he had a business, and he knew me and knew that I would show up for work and was smart enough to figure out some of these things, and that's pretty much, I think, probably how that ended up happening. Mm-hmm. I had moved from the city where his business was to a different city, mm-hmm. and was working out of our apartment, and would just work by myself day after day. And I guess as a matter of backstory, the jobs that I had had in the past that I really enjoyed the most were when I worked with other people, sales type jobs. Mm. And so to find myself programming computers by myself in an apartment all day with nothing but talk radio mm-hmm. to be my companion was really, had really just grown into a really frustrating situation to me, and one that I guess I eventually realized just wasn't compatible with how I wanted to live my life. Mm-hmm.
Was there a aha moment, a certain day when you just said, I can't take this anymore?
Yeah, there was. Actually, I had a similar moment 2 different times. And I'll tell you about the first time because I think that it's kind of relevant to the second time when I actually did make a change. Mm-hmm. The first time that I kind of had one of these aha moments, I worked as a marketing communications coordinator, which means that I wrote and proofread text for catalogs mm-hmm. that people would read if they wanted to buy different products. Mm-hmm. And I ended up working, my first day I was introduced to my work environment, and it was a converted utility closet.
Oh my. So how big was that?
Well, it was probably 8 foot across by 15 foot long. Okay. And it was shared by 2 people.
Oh my gosh.
It was shared by 2 people, and there was a column, a 2 foot by 2 foot column in the middle, and behind the column in the middle was a circuit breaker box panel. So we would get electricians coming into the office probably 3 times a week, knocking on our door, coming in and doing God knows what. Yeah. So there were 2 people in this office, and we both faced opposite walls. So, and I had the back wall. Mm-hmm. So anybody, who knows who could have come into my office, and I would have had no idea what was going on because mm-hmm. I was facing the wall. Well, in that job, I had been asked and had taken a job as temporarily as part of a conference. So I went to Baltimore, actually, is where it was, just out of cure, you know, just.
You were asked to coordinate or go to the conference?
I was actually asked to go to the conference, and I ended up being a driver. So I would drive VIPs to and from the airport. I mean, it was just a real...
It was a local conference. No, it was in Baltimore.
It was in Baltimore, yeah.
Okay.
So I got to travel, and which is the first time in my life I did this for business.
Yeah.
And I drove VIPs back and forth to the airport, met a former attorney general, got to go to a bunch of Baltimore Orioles games, ate on the company's dime for all my meals. It was really great.
Yeah.
And I was surrounded by people, and it was very exciting because it was this conference, and it was their annual conference, so it was a big deal. So for about 10 days, I had this real, just, you know, lots of movement and seeing people and just excitement.
Interacting.
The following Monday, I went in to work.
Back in the closet.
Facing the wall. And I remember this vividly, sitting there. When I got to work, I sat down in my chair facing the wall and hearing silence for 15, 20 minutes. And I just remember... I can remember sitting there thinking, where did all that fun go? Where did all that excitement go? Where did all the people go? Where did all the feeling like I was part of something go? And I can remember it right now, just sitting there, and I felt so, like, I guess just hopeless. And I felt like I had seen something really good, and that it had been taken away, and I just didn't see that it was ever going to happen again. And I just felt... it just felt horrible.
Yeah,
you know?
Empty.
It felt very empty. Yeah, and it felt like nothing was ever going to change for me. And it was just demoralizing. So
did you stay there for a period of time after that, or what did you do? Did you make a decision?
I made some changes in my life, I guess, because I had also gained a lot of weight because of that, for not enjoying my job, and it was a job that took me 2 hours to commute a day, and it was one that I didn't like. So I was commuting a lot and gaining weight and not doing a job I liked, and it just wasn't working. Yeah. So eventually I ended up taking a sales job much closer to my home, which got me involved with other people, which for me was a much better job. So when was the second moment that felt like that, where you said, this is horrible, I must make a change? Well, this was, to go back to where I was at the end point there, was in my apartment as a computer programmer. Okay. And we had my then fiance and I lived there, and my in-laws had come into town for, I think it was holiday weekend. And we had they had stayed with us for the 4 days, and we had gone out and had a lot of fun and gone to restaurants, and I think we went to a ball game or a play or something like that. And you know, and I really enjoy their company. They're, you know, I really like to be with them. And
that's great that you like your future in-law.
Yeah, I know. It's unusual. Yeah. I try not to tell people because I don't want to make them jealous or and again, so there was a lot of excitement in our apartment, and I just remember feeling very happy. Yeah, a lot of real good energy, and then they left, and that next Monday morning when I went back to work, I was in front of a computer, facing a wall, doing something I didn't want to do. Okay. And it was like, okay, this is the second time this has happened. Okay. And just these very guttural, just my chest tightening and just having, I don't know if I had trouble breathing, but I definitely felt like the world was kind of closing in on me a little bit. Yeah, okay. And I guess I felt like, well, you know, the first time, you know, maybe that just happens to everybody, but the second time was like a signal. Yeah. You know. So then, that was your moment of enough is enough. Yeah. And so what decision did you make? What did you say to yourself? I said that I needed to do something. Stay tuned for how this turns out.